Yay! It's Wednesday. It's my favorite day of the week, and I was born on a Wednesday, so I'm going to stick with it. You're about to meet a serious powerhouse. This woman is, who can do this? She is an engineering,
kabel za svaki slučaj, molim te.
a technical wizard, and she's ridiculously fun. So I cannot explain to you how excited I am to have Ivana Todorovic on our show today, because Ivana is one of the brainchildren behind this incredible tool called AuthoredUp. And she has joined us today from Serbia. Thank you, where it's about 3:00 and sunny there. And wow, we have a lot of people already coming in, Team Live, yay. And Barbara, good morning from DC. Good morning, Gitanjali. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Yasmin. Oh, all these people are here because of you. And so thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for your incredible innovation.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me and for inviting me for this discussion today.
Tell us how you stumbled across creating this, because you did not go into AuthoredUp to design a tool to do all of the content and all of the now 11 features that are happening. So how did you decide, you know what, I need to build this tool?
Stumbled is a great word, by the way. Because that's exactly what happened to us. When I say us, I mean to me and my co-founder, because we basically had one startup that successfully failed. Yeah, like if you can imagine, like mistakes that a founder can make, like, and make a list, but we are 80% of that list probably. So, but like we built a tool, and then we realized like a full functionality, like 10 months of development, and we realized that we need to get some beta users. So we got to LinkedIn because that was the place to be. And we were like, okay, so what can we do on LinkedIn? First of all, we can spam people, send DMs and something like that. We are not professional marketers and salespeople, so we were not into that. So we were like, okay, let's create content. And we thought that it will be much, much, much more easier. And it will be like, you get there, you write something, you get your audience, you get a ton of engagement, and then you get like 10 or 20 or 30 beta users, and you're successful, and you don't even need to go to LinkedIn anymore. So that was basically the plan. However, like after the first 7 days, we realized it's so hard. We cannot stay consistent. We don't know what to write about. We don't know how to write. We don't know what matters. After that, we start reading like all the advices, and you just get like 100 advices, and you're like, I don't know. I cannot pick one, or, like, and sometimes they're even contrarian, like someone tells you write this, someone tells you go for video or poll or some, like you need to do X, you need to do Y, 5 hashtags, 3 hashtags, no hashtags, So yes links, no links, like, and you just like, you are everywhere and nowhere. And then we start to analyze our content and realize that like a preview is really important. And like from the, like from our perspective, we knew that if we are going through the feed, like, and if we stop on your post and click see more, that basically we are giving you the first yes. And that is, like, at least I will give you, a few more seconds to give me some value. And that's when we started looking for a tool for previewing LinkedIn posts. There was none of them, and we built an internal tool to do just that.
I'm shaking my head because I find it fascinating, and I especially find it so relevant because I don't know of one person that doesn't find writing content on LinkedIn not only overwhelming, but also so conflicting and contrarian in the ways to do it. And so what you did and how you did it is to test it yourself, right? You experienced this. You knew that you found a big problem. And so in a word or sentence or two, what is the biggest problem that AuthoredUp solves for?
I think that it nudges people to create content, like they just feel empowered. That's at least the feedback that we are getting. Like, yes, there are features like here is, like you have a really great editor and you have ideas, templates, etc. But like if there is one specific thing is that you feel like, you have tools and that you're not alone. So people feel empowered to create content, and we have hundreds of people reaching back to us and telling us that they wouldn't create any content if there was no AuthoredUp.
So to date, you are at roughly 20,000 downloads. It's a free tool, right? It's a Chrome extension that you can get. Tell us about the top 3 things that everyone here needs to know about what AuthoredUp can do for you. What are the 3 kind of reasons why people want to download it?
Yeah, first reason is definitely because of the editor. Because first of all, as I mentioned, like preview is still very, very, very important and even more relevant right now where we have more content creators on LinkedIn. So it is definitely to preview and to see how your post will look in the feed on different screens, because people are reading it on mobile phones or on tablet or desktop, and they look differently. So that is something that I would start with, because like if you understand how it will look, then you can relate to your post and you can understand.
Can break up the sentences, right? So
exactly, add formatting.
Like mobile, where it's like you're writing this long sentence and then you see it on the preview and you're like, oh no, it isn't gonna give enough white space, or it isn't gonna give enough readability, right?
Exactly. That's why we have also readability check. But the whole idea is basically for you to see and to look at your post and to say, okay, so this seems like, like a really nice formatting. You can add bullet points, number lists, that is your post that you probably invested like at least half an hour, and people that are starting like hour or even 2 hours, to write something. So you really don't want to waste your post because it is really bad formatted and you have like 10 lines of.
Okay, so formatting is the first one. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Karen Blades. We're so happy to see you. And also, please make sure that you put your questions in the chat so that we can stop at some point and have Ivana field them. So first one is editor. That's the first reason why this is such a helpful tool. Second reason
is you can save multiple drafts on LinkedIn directly, and that you can open AuthoredUp not only in the feed, but wherever you are, and you can store ideas there. So usually we are all scrolling through a LinkedIn, and you read some nice post or you get an inspiration and you're like, where can I put that idea? Or so you can just open AuthoredUp and save it as a draft. You can save unlimited number of drafts that can contain text or image.
Okay, that's a huge one too, because one of the things that I love about AuthoredUp is it's all on LinkedIn. It's right there. I don't even know, I'm embarrassed to say, sticky notes and digital notes and all these things when I get that inspiration. So now it's there and it's much more immediate in terms of being able to convert it to an actual post. All right, this is good. Number 3, why are people downloading this?
Because they want to get historically their posts in one place with all data related to that post. Because basically you can, with AuthoredUp, you can collect all your posts. You just need to scroll through your feed. It doesn't matter whether it was published via AuthoredUp or not. So people are going even a year or 2 years in the history. We have people with thousands of posts. So yeah, exactly. Like it's funny. Like you can see different behavior, like because we have so many users. So you can see.
Wait, are you telling me that it goes back historically and captures all your posts, and you could see like the best engagement?
Yeah, you can see. Yes, for every post we are catching like a ton of data, including number of impressions, reactions, comments, etc. We are also tracking whether you had links, hashtags, and which hashtags you used. Did you mention someone and whom? You are calculating engagement rate, which all of, like right now we are putting into the table the idea is that you can see the nice post, and then you can click with one click, you can put it to the editor and reuse that post immediately.
Wow. Okay, so you can repurpose your posts.
Exactly.
So if any of you haven't figured this out yet, recycling your posts is legit. Like, that is not a knock on, ooh, you don't have new content. And what you're able to do with that is, maybe freshen it up with a new hook or a new call to action. So even though the body is consistent or repetitive, it also comes across as new content. So that's really awesome. So here's a question regarding post data. Are these posts generated only on AuthoredUp? No, these are ones that came even before that.
Exactly. Right. And that, like, even if you don't post anything with AuthoredUp, you can still collect your posts with AuthoredUp.
Okay, so these are anything that's been archived. Exactly. And then here we go, because we were talking about this before. Yeah. Thanks, Yasmin. Okay, so before we get into that, I'm putting a pin in that. I want you to share with us something that I found to be unbelievably important for especially anyone who is using LinkedIn. And please, let's talk about the ability for you to use AuthoredUp without being in violation of LinkedIn's privacy policy.
Yeah. So basically, AuthoredUp, when we started AuthoredUp, we realized that you're investing so much time into your LinkedIn profile, building it, and it can be your only, way to generate leads or demand, and that you can, on the other side, lose your LinkedIn account very easily if you violate some terms, especially if you do it over and over and over again.
Right. And LinkedIn jail is a big deal. It's a real thing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, on one side, it is done by their AI. So sometimes it is because of the tools. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's not because of the tools, but because of the behavior that they find unusual, which we can also talk about what is that behavior. But like, you have a risk if you are using tools on LinkedIn. And when I say tools, I mean if you are doing any kind of the automation. So if you ever got like a notification from LinkedIn, they are basically saying that you are having some a behavior that is unusual and that they identified some automated activity. So how can you get any kind of the automated activity is basically if you have a tool that is taking your cookie, and your cookie or token is basically your username and password just in a different form, putting it to their server, and then from their server talking to LinkedIn server. For example, sending out connection requests, sending DMs, getting data from LinkedIn, and doing things like that. And that activity, like from LinkedIn point of view, it can be more risky for their platform or less risky. That's why we have different types of tools, some that are almost fine, like with a very low risk, and those that are really violating a LinkedIn terms of use and that automation. Mm-hmm. From our side, when we started, we realized that we just don't want to get into that space. We were like, because if you just make one move, that is bad for not maybe you personally, but like for your users, like you cannot get back, so it's much easier to stay on a white side, I would say, without taking a cookie. So which means that AuthoredUp cannot do any kind of the activity in the user's name. And that's why we cannot do things that our users are asking us to do. That's why, we cannot get, for example, data every hour, or, we cannot send, nor we are going to enable you to send any kind of the automation connection requests or messages, etc. But we believe that's the fair way to develop tools for content creators.
And I know this because we've talked before, but clearly it made your job a lot harder. It's a lot easier for you to be able to create this tool with some of the more traditional methods, but clearly in order to stay away from any violation, you had to do it without the cookies.
Exactly. Like you can, like you have even like open source, like some of these tools, so you can immediately just go there and put it on their server and start using that. And it's much easier because then you're not thinking about compliance. And then, like you're obviously all the time thinking about the risk that you're putting to your users because you don't want your users to be banned. But, like you can, put some tweaks here and there, and it's much easier. Because of that, most of things that you're doing on AuthoredUp, you're doing manually. When I say most, I mean like maybe we're going to provide you some templates. We're going to provide you also this data that we mentioned, like it's your data that we see in your browser. We are not talking to the LinkedIn directly. And I believe that that's, the only way that to be safe. And on the other side, you need to take some activities on your side. You need to do stuff manually.
So you guys have been prolific, right? Every month you have a new release. And so I would love you to share what is upcoming and talk specifically about the areas of data that we are going to be able to see. Claire, this is for you. I would love to hear more about what data is provided and what is going to be provided. And also, I would love to make sure that we are addressing the question about the paid version. So
yeah. Okay, so regarding the data, we are only working with content data. So no personal data, no emails, nothing like that. But on a content side, we are getting your post, your full post, like the text and everything that you have there, including number of reactions, engagement rate, everything that your post consists of. We are also taking that, for example, number of hashtags that you used and which hashtags, and number of mentions. Did you mention a company or a person? And all of that right now you can see in the table format. Regarding that, like our next feature that I'm going to announce right now is basically the content analytics. And we are building it, I would say, our way. I have a bit of, scientific background. So we were working with tens of marketing dashboards, not only for LinkedIn, but for any kind of the startup marketing activities. And you usually have a problem that it is a dashboard of analytics that you cannot really make any actions based off, based on, or, it's hard. Like you want to compare two things and you really want to compare these two things and not something that they are going to put in a graph. So we are right now building, I would say, the most advanced content analytics that you can imagine. And we hope to have the next version until the end of May.
Yes, and I also, the analytics are extremely robust. And before we went live, Ivana was sharing that I asked her if there's been any conversations with Shield, and she said that they actually were very complimentary of your tools. So I love that they were giving you guys a lift. Separately, I also want to talk about the analysis and the analytics around white space. So
yes. Yeah. So about a month ago, we onboarded a data analyst that is helping us to understand, like to really understand how content should work, or should, what is the best way to post, what is, like everything around content, all the questions that people are having in their minds, and they're trying to get, insights from somewhere. We are right now testing on millions of data units. So, for example, one of the analysis, it was just a fun analysis, to be honest. Like, we don't know how to represent that, but we are analyzing the white spaces that every post has. And then we are comparing that to the best post that performed on LinkedIn. Why we are doing it? Because basically we don't know what is the psychology behind that, okay? But we know that there is something in how your post is formatted. By the way, Yasmin is probably the best guy who knows how to format posts. We were using him also as a wrapper in our analysis. But the whole idea is to understand, like, how much white space should you have at what level, and to understand what is the best, combination of text and white space. So we saw like some results that if you have about 40 to 50% of white space, that is the best way to present your content. But it's not that simple, because we have different types of calculations. You have two posts. Imagine you have one post that has 10 lines of text and then 10 empty lines and then one line, and you have post that has one line of text, one empty, one line of text, etc. So though that also has to get into the analysis. So analysis is a bit more complex than just calculation of white spaces. But yes, we have that, and definitely it is on our whole data set. When we check, like, it's giving great results.
I love this. I love this because no one else, number one, has thought about it, and we know that it's important. So, you'll be able to see. One of my pet peeves is those walls of text when there's no white space, but this will be able to better calculate and calibrate the amount of white space and where you can make those improvements. So with all of this activity and with all of these releases, how do we stay up to date with what is coming out? And how do we also, to that end, have some ability to learn, all of the breadth and depth of what this tool can offer?
That's, again, a good question. Because we are so focused on building the tool, we didn't build so many resources where you can, go and understand everything about AuthoredUp. We are, by the way, right now building a few videos. But what we have regarding our roadmap and everything we are developing is on our roadmap. So on our website, you can go there and you can check what we are building. You can also vote for different features. You can suggest a feature, you can write a comment, and we are basically building based on the votes, and on the other side on the market analysis that we are doing on our side. So that's regarding the future of AuthoredUp. Most of the things are there. What is not there is employee advocacy platform that we are building in parallel, because that's a totally different, I would say, product where we want to empower companies with teams to create content on LinkedIn, and not only for social selling purposes, but also for thought leadership and helping companies achieve their goals. So that is a totally different product that we plan to release relatively soon.
Yeah, you're a busy woman. So I love this. Marty, thanks for coming. I love the idea of repurposing content. I have avoided this in the past. Access to older posts is a great idea. So there you go. Gitanjali, how does AuthoredUp help in creating content aligned with the author's natural voice? Is there a go-to that you can operate?
Yeah, so we are not an AI tool for content creation. Sometimes they think like we are not creating content in your name. We are helping you with different types of templates, preview. They call us, by the way, Swiss knife for LinkedIn content creation. So a lot of smaller things that you can do to help you. So basically, it's your natural voice because you are a content creator. We tested a few ways to help people with AI content creation. We are definitely not satisfied with the output, and we don't emphasize and empower that kind of content creation where you go to ChatGPT and ask them to write a whole post for you. So that's obviously you can do that and then paste to AuthoredUp.
Right. So this isn't to write it from scratch. It's not going to generate the content. It's going to optimize the content that you are putting in there and show you from both data and other visual aids how you can improve that.
Exactly.
What is your favorite tool? What is the one that you are just like, oh my goodness, this is like something that blows my mind? What's the one that you like the most?
I like my favorite ever tool is Grammarly, because for us that are not native English speakers, we obviously learned English in schools, but you always feel like you're like what you're writing, the text is not good. You cannot see the issue, but you can understand that there are like some difficulties in your text. So I'm using Grammarly all the time. Obviously, sometimes they are not suggesting great options, but to understand how to write more natively, let's call it like that, or at least not to make so many mistakes So I would say that is number one tool that wherever, you know,
I
I
should
pay
have
for
said
it.
I meant on your platform, on your AuthoredUp.
Right.
So
Oh,
which is the one? Because I
the
think the staircase is brilliant.
a staircase, yeah, but staircase is on the website. We didn't implement it into the editor because it's so hard to do something like that. And the whole idea is to basically format the text in some kind of a form, and to make it eye-catchy when someone reads the
So it
post.
looks like a staircase. So
Yes, it looks like a staircase on one side or on the other. Yes, yes, yes.
Super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can paste any kind of a text. It works not only for LinkedIn content, it works for any type of the content.
Wow. Okay, so that was my favorite. What's your favorite on AuthoredUp?
My favorite tool is the next that we are building because it's always like, you know, while we are building, I'm like, okay, so this is, you know, something that
New baby.
You know, I already used it so much and tested so much. So I'm always looking for the next one. But right now, the one that I love the most is when to post something that we didn't publish yet, but it's like an analysis of the best times to post. And we found so many insights because we are clustering profiles, and also we are tracking different type of behavior on LinkedIn, and different communities again behave differently. So I'm testing that, by the way, in my posts sometimes, but it's really, really interesting because you can see really ups and downs in number of impressions or engagement that people are getting based on the time when they post their content. So that's something that is my favorite that is coming. And the one that I really love the most is preview, because, you know, like that's something that we started with.
So practical. Okay. One of the best question askers ever. For someone who doesn't know where to start in creating their own content, where should they start? Obviously download AuthoredUp, but then what?
Oh, that's also, then, you know, you can go to our blog, and we have 3 to 4, like we don't have too many blog posts, but everything that we have is, first of all, true, and it is checked, and it has a ton of examples. That's how we built our blogs. We don't like blogs where you have 1, 2, 3 number list and then that's it. We really like to, you know, to give examples of great posts. So there are a few blog posts that are showing like what not to do, and also what to do, and how to, not only how to format your post, but like to understand the ideas and the content behind different content creators.
Wow. I did just include the blog post for those ideas. And also I really, really love the roadmap. So well done in being able to catalog this. Okay. This is, can we get a GIF feature soon?
We didn't also respond to Yasmin's question about the pricing.
Oh, yes. Please.
So that's coming after we start, after we release analytics. What we are going to do is we are going to announce when we are going to start charging. We'll transfer all beta license to free trial license, and people will have additional time to decide whether they are going to buy AuthoredUp or not. We'll definitely grandfather all beta users on the price that they will see, and we'll give special price for them. So that's the plan for AuthoredUp pricing. And for GIF feature, with that, we tried to add that feature quickly a few times. We couldn't do it quickly, so we decided after we are done with this analytics and insights, my co-founder Panta will probably find a few days to make a GIF.
Okay. It's coming. And yes, Claire, we did answer this. Yes, it will catalog all old posts. Yes,
exactly.
So it will share the archived posts. Oh my God, great idea. So if you have an idea, like, this is the woman that you want to be speaking to, because she is literally cataloging some of the challenges and also making sure that your voice is being heard by implementing the ones that really reach a critical mass. So I just included this so that you guys can sign up. And fascinating products. It is a fascinating product. And I am just beyond grateful to you, Ivana, for sticking with it because I know that your entrepreneurial journey has not been smooth. And the truth is, you really came across somebody who something that is really, really like, it's so helpful and useful to us. So you hit the jackpot here. And you got a lot of fans here. I have so many ideas, but Ivana would catapult me into space. I totally agree. So you're
Yes.
getting a lot of
No, we will listen to you. Really, like, and Yasmin, yes, we will listen to you. Trust me, like, just let us finish this analytics and then we'll get onto it. I promise.
Yes. You're not an easy person to bring on this podcast, on this live, only because you are so busy and you've also been so gracious. So thank you. Thank you so much, Ivana, for the way that you and your team, thank you to your co-founder for saying hi before the show. And please get this so that you can use the value of content in a way where you can also feel empowered, both by the tools and by the intel that the analytics are providing. So we're signing off. We'll see you next week. Ivana, hang around for a minute as we end the broadcast. And of course, go follow Ivana on LinkedIn. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.